Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to Couple of Flicks. I am Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
And what we are going to be doing is we're going to be watching every film on the bottom 100 IMDB list. So I'm going to give it a shot, and we're going to start with number 100, which is...
Escape Plan 2, Hades.
Yeah.
And this is as recording too, so
Yeah.
there's just always potential for things to get switched around, I guess.
That's true, yeah. So if things get switched around, we'll try to keep tabs,
So
but
if you're watching this in the future,
yeah.
it's when we record it.
Yeah.
As
The
of
list-
October 2020.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The list is always changing, but I don't know. We're going to give it a shot. So,
Yeah.
and we're starting with Escape Room to Hades, as I like to call it, or Escape Plan to Hades.
Yeah. Which recently bumped off Cat in the Hat from the list.
Yeah.
Aww, I would rather watch that.
Yeah.
I'm a little relieved, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous because I feel like if the Cat in the Hat gets back on the list, that means we're going to end up having to watch it. So. But oh well. Anyway, okay, Escape. I keep wanting to call it Escape Room. Escape Plan to Hades, or Escape Plan 2, Hades. So did either of you watch the first one?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't.
I did, which is actually probably one of the reasons why this whole thing was kind of tricky to do. But I did watch the first one
Before we decided to do this list, or
after we decided to do this list.
so you wanted to prep?
Yes.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. Well, I figured if I was going to watch the sequel to Escape Plan, I may as well know what the first one's about. But
I thought it would be funnier just to go in time.
yeah, I mean, honestly, it turns out it doesn't really make much of a difference.
I followed it pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't think I missed much.
Okay, yeah, you really didn't.
Can I guess what the first one was about?
Oh yeah, go for it.
They had to escape a prison.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, basically.
Sylvester Stallone
Yeah,
makes
you got your boy.
makes a team of people escaping a prison.
Yeah. Well, I mean what did you think of the first film before we start talking about the second movie?
The first one was okay. It's like
Okay.
average action prison escape movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. I mainly because I'm pretty much over Stallone at this point. Like he's at a point where I'm just kind of not really finding him to be super interesting as an actor, you know. So I mean, the Creed movies are fine, but beyond that, I don't know, as a hero, quote unquote character like he was in the first movie, there's just not much there.
Action scenes are less and less interesting.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but that was the first film. So, does the second film, in your opinion, make up, fix the flaws from the first film and become a better movie? Or
Hell no.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. Because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
So, who wants to even try to explain the plot of this one?
I got the Wikipedia pulled up. So you want me to do that?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I don't know how to explain it on my own.
Yeah, there's not. Go for it. Yeah.
Ray Breslin continues to operate his security company to some success, with senior members Hush and Abigail, and newcomers Shu Ren, Jasper Kimbrell, and Luke Graves as field operators.
Yeah.
Hush, played by 50 Cent, by the way.
Yeah, I was pumped to see him. And was he in the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, very briefly as well.
Yeah.
So Shu wasn't in the first one?
No.
No.
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I thought he was in the first one.
Yeah, no.
No.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the first one as his
Yeah,
cohort in
Oh.
prison.
yeah,
Oh.
which is kind of interesting, but
Huh.
yeah,
Okay. Huh.
it's hard to picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it didn't end up working out so well, in my opinion, but you know.
Yep. During a hostage rescue mission in Chechnya,
Mm.
Kimbrel, trusting his computer algorithms, deviates from the mission objectives. This results in one of the hostages being shot, later dying of her wounds. Breslin fires Kimball as a result. Breslin being Stallone, for those listening.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, like, yeah, that pretty much. There's not really anything else.
The
Kind of
algorithm.
just sums it all up.
I
Yeah.
laughed when they just called it the algorithm. They
Yeah.
kept saying the algorithm works.
Yeah, they kept on referring
Fucking algorithm.
to it, but they didn't really like elaborate. It was
Yeah.
it was sort of just expected that it meant something. So, oh well.
A year later, Shu is contacted by his family to protect his cousin Yusheng Ma,
Yeah.
soon to announce groundbreaking satellite communications technology from his telecommunications company. Yusheng has been targeted by a rival company, Rusho. After attending a party in Bangkok, Shu defends Yusheng from masked men, but both are stunned with M26 military-grade tasers and are kidnapped.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Which the way that whole thing unfolded was a little confusing, but I get now that you've like explained it, I guess it makes sense now.
Yeah, it makes more sense reading it than it was watching it.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems with this movie, and you know, this is a problem I've had with multiple Steve Miller movies. Actually, I gotta admit, because this is another Steve Miller directed movie. A lot of his movies are really badly edited, like in a way that kind of starts to piss me off after a
This one
while.
was atrociously edited.
Yeah.
That's the thing I fucking noticed.
Yeah, the editing. The thing is, it's one thing to have like a poor like action movie where nothing interesting happens, but it's another thing to like have an action movie where you can't even really tell what's happening. Like that just it gets irritating after a while, and like
Yeah.
I just
I felt like, because like the Shoe guy seems like he was a good martial artist.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel they could have had cooler fight scenes with him,
Mm-hmm.
but there was all zoom in, shaky camera bullshit.
Right, which usually when stuff like that gets left in a movie, it usually tends to have to do with a lack of coverage. And so I don't know, the director, he needs to get a better editor, because this has happened with a few of his movies, you know, like that I've seen. I remember I experienced the same issue with at Automaton Transfusion, which, I mean, that movie, not only was that movie like hard to follow with the horrible editing and the terrible camera work, but the movie itself was hard to even look at. Like, it had this sort of sharp quality that just was constantly out of focus. And when you have like some kind of high definition sort of or mini definition camera that you're using, and you're not really like shooting things properly, and you can't get your camera to like focus, you can't even really tell what you're looking at a lot of the time. And so it's just frustrating. And this movie, like you could tell that they were using like better camera equipment, but I still had trouble following what was going on a lot of the time in both the action sequences and kind of in the plot too. So
Yeah, like that kidnapping scene started to look like it was going to be cool.
yeah.
You know, like you said, it looked like he was a good martial artist, but then it just like ended.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there was one fight too that I thought it was turning out that I thought it was going to be super badass. It was like the one where it was Shu and I think someone else versus everyone.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna, because it had like a aerial view of them, I think, right?
Yeah, and it was
And I
kind of
thought
like, ooh,
I
this
thought
is
it like
pumped
might try like a raid-esque, you know, hallway scene.
Yeah.
Or not raid, but whatever.
the Protector or Old Boy or something
Old boy,
like that.
yeah, Old boy one. An old boy, like, well, I was expecting way too much, of course.
Well.
Like, oh, this might be an awesome like long shot, him fighting off a ton of dudes all. But nope, it was like started off looking cool and then just back into the fucking zoom shaky bullshit.
Yeah, and it's just like some close-ups of some karate chops, some kicks, I mean, you can tell that the kicks are landing, sort of, but like it's not really clear like who like is getting hit a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And you also don't really get a good feeling of like the location they're in, like how much space is between him and these other guys, how much like is the environment even like, is there a way that he could even use that environment to his advantage, or there's just nothing really like that ever happens. You don't ever, I don't know, it's hard to feel grounded during the action scenes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same problem that a lot of like early Van Damme movies had. It was just the editing of the fight scenes, and the fight choreography was a mess.
Yep.
But anyway, go on.
Later, Shu finds himself imprisoned in an unknown arena where inmates are forced to fight. Shu is forced to brawl another prisoner and wins, and encounters fellow inmate Kimbrel, who explains the prison is called Hades, where he has been held for several months.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is when I thought things were going to get interesting.
yeah,
Does that say what Hades stood for? Because I know it was stupid.
no. Well, what confused me is their team called it Hades, but everyone in there called it the zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was the man in black from Lost, or was it?
Oh, was that him?
The zookeeper.
Oh, I didn't
He
even
was
realize.
in Lost. He was
He,
like
he's also in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize that was him.
the zookeeper guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Luke, Hush, Abigail, and Breslin attempt to locate Shu after his and Yishang's disappearance, which that scene was fucking annoying.
Yeah.
With all the fucking weird zooms past their faces and stuff. They were
It
talking
actually,
about
like,
it.
It actually started to make me chuckle after a while, the amount of zooms. Because yeah, at that point it's like these people just, I guess they're supposed to be just important in their own sort of individual ways. I mean, if the camera's like paying enough attention, like every time something like that happened, it made you feel like something important was happening when it wasn't.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Drawing on Breslin's training to formulate an escape plan, Shu meets with the warden Gregor Faust, who calls himself the zookeeper, and learns that Faust wants Yusheng communication patents in exchange for their release. Yusheng tells Shu that he buried the technology for fear it would be used to hijack any nuclear launch system in the world, and they resolve to escape.
Yeah, that was a little confusing too, mainly because like once it kind of happened out of nowhere. Like, but
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I think they were trying to do like that same plot from the first one where Arnold was
Yeah.
that guy that they were looking for.
Yeah, they're trying to raise the stakes basically,
Yeah.
which wasn't really necessary for this plot, but oh.
They needed a reason to be in there.
Yeah, I guess,
this
but
thing.
like
Why would?
it just felt like kind of a stretch though at that point in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
like they just had to have, I don't know.
Breslin determines that Hades is funded by the same mysterious organization who funded the tomb and seeks help from an old contact, Trent DeRosa. While following a lead on Shu's disappearance, Luke is caught up and transferred to Hades,
Okay.
which was that pointless fucking car chase scene.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was dumb too. I just, I don't know. I applaud their ambition for trying to do a car chase.
Yeah.
I kind of like the shootout a little bit. Like I was sort of like, I don't know.
With
That's,
Stallone.
yeah,
Yeah, that was nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was like the one. Well, actually, even that wasn't that cool. But
No.
I don't know. Well, okay, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, go on.
Shu befriends the prison cook and learns that the prison layout changes every night, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, I mean, that whole prison was ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
the high techness of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
just
didn't get it.
it didn't feel very like real. It didn't feel very realistic to have like these kinds of people in this type of prison. It just, yeah,
Yeah, so I laughed at the robots. Like there was
Yeah.
the very first shot of a robot. It was like
Yeah.
so CG. I just laughed at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
pretty
then
hilarious.
The whole thing about so they have robot doctors that were
Right.
stitching people up,
Yeah.
but they don't have a robot chef.
Yeah.
So like they needed a human chef
Right.
for the whole escape plan to work.
Yeah.
Obviously, so they just okay, whatever. We have robot doctors, but no, well, we don't have a robot chef. We don't have microwave TV dinners
Yeah.
on a fucking conveyor belt now.
Nah. Let's do away with the consistency.
Yeah, and then like the cell doors were just force fields. Like what was up with that? Like
Yeah.
Tech shit, dude.
yeah. None of that shit was in the first one. Like the most ridiculous thing about the first one was that the prison was on a cargo ship.
Yeah. That's about it though. Like beyond that though, like the first movie actually like played it pretty safe with the plot. And they didn't
Oh, wow.
like go all fancy and
They went
weird like this
all
one
out
did.
in this one, though.
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't know what they were thinking. Honestly, like it felt like they were trying it felt like they were trying to make an epic, but then they ended up making half a movie almost. That's what it felt like to me anyway.
And
Yeah.
the Annie.
Yeah.
And
I guess so. Yeah. Go on.
the prison stuff, like it all felt like we were just showing the same sets just with a different color lights.
Yeah. Felt like a lot of setup
Mm-hmm.
for like pretty much no payoff. I mean, what was that? Like so I mean, yeah, okay. So what else? Is that something
Kimbrel reveals that another inmate, a hacker known as Count Zero, knows the layout. Shu earns his trust, and Count Zero gives him the information, but in doing so reveals his identity.
okay. Well,
Those weird, like albino guys.
Yeah, we are Legion.
yeah.
That's all they said.
Pretty much. That was actually pretty funny. I mean,
Better than Hack the Planet, I guess.
oh, most definitely.
They should have said that instead, though.
Well, it would have made me laugh even harder if they did. But,
The following day, Shu, Luke, and Kimbrel are brought in for questioning and forced to watch as Count Zero is presumably executed.
oh yeah, that was pretty melodramatic.
Yeah. Kimbrel reveals that he actually runs Hades. In the year since being dismissed from Breslin's team, he designed and built Hades to prove his algorithms work and that his prison is literally inescapable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
The plot
yeah,
twist.
yeah. So why was there even a plot twist at that point? Like,
Why did he have to be in there in the first place?
Yeah.
Like, why did he?
Oh, yeah.
Why did he
You really-
pretend to be a?
Yeah, he should have just been the zookeeper the whole time.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it kind of made his character friggin' useless. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just, I don't know. Whatever. I guess.
And he built all that shit in a year.
I mean, if that seems to be what they're trying to say. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's fucking confusing as hell, but I guess
Impressive.
it's possible.
Yeah. Built Hades to prove his algorithms and literally escapable. Oh, since it's not operated by human guards, but rather an automatic system.
Okay.
Breslin and DeRosa find clues revealing Kimbrel's connection to Hades. Knowing
Yeah.
Kimbrel is out for revenge, Breslin allows himself to be captured and sent to Hades.
Yeah.
Then, using a hidden communication device in his tooth, Breslin stays in contact with Hush while attempting to breach the prison's defenses from the inside.
I thought that was so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Well, like I've seen that in so many movies now.
I haven't seen that ever.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, anyway,
It
go
wa-
on.
It was even more stupid because in the first movie, they did the same shit and planted a tracking device, and that's the first thing they did was take it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They made it a
Which-
huge plot point in the first movie.
Huh.
Yeah. And so, like, the fact that they're pretty much recycling plot points
Yeah. I mean, that's why I feel I didn't miss much.
Yeah.
I felt like if I was like, oh, this is probably exactly what they did in the first movie.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much what they did in the first movie, only like not as good, which is saying a lot because the way they did in the first movie sucked like pretty bad. But this just sort of ended up kind of being sort of like a dumbed down version of an already really dumb movie. So, which, you know, it's impressive, at least in my opinion, you know, to actually like try to like keep such a simple formula and simplify it. I mean, at that point, because I guess they did make a third one, which is apparently they filmed this back to back with the third one.
Yeah.
And now that I know that, because I learned that like shortly before you picked me up, because I was reading about it, because I was so
Okay.
baffled. Once I learned that, suddenly it kind of made the second movie make more sense, you know, because it kind of is half a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breslin, Shu, and Luke formulate a new plan while enlisting the help of Yusheng the cook.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. That's why they needed a human cook.
Right. So there you go. Problem solved, I guess. It wasn't really it wasn't a logistical error. It was a plot error
Yep.
or plot convenience,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
could pass notes and give them fucking microchips and shit through the
Yeah.
food.
Yeah. That's what happens when you write a script and you decide to write the ending first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They found a guy that knows how to get things to
Yeah.
like how do you get things into this one?
Well, I mean, they didn't make it very obvious.
No, he just knew.
Yeah. They managed to disable the prison security cameras and, with Hush's help, temporarily shut down Galileo, the prison's automated
Which actually-
system.
Yeah, which actually wasn't even that hard, it turned out. Like,
Yeah.
in the end, you know? Like, it was mostly just kind of all talk, lots of buildup. Ended up being a pretty simple solution.
Yeah. And isn't that like the random Pete Wentz cameo when that came in?
Yeah, so what was he doing in here?
I don't
Fallout
remember.
Boy fella.
I don't remember. It was also,
that band that he was in? I think it was.
yeah, Fallout Boy.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what he was doing in the movie.
I don't
Yeah,
recall this
No.
at all.
I know
It
his
was-
face appeared somewhere in
Yeah.
the middle.
It was during one of Batista's scenes, which this
Yeah.
hasn't even mentioned that he's in the
Oh.
movie yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dave Bautista, believe it or not, is in this somewhere, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he-
his big head is right on the poster. But
Yeah. Even though he's in it for all about 10 minutes.
yeah.
And all he does is like stare at a computer or a phone the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing, is that the fact that the characters were communicating through computer. Like,
Oh yeah, they had those text messaging things pop up
Yeah.
on the screen.
yeah, it's just like, ugh.
Just call.
Like, the people who wrote they didn't even try to, like, have, like, any kind of character or anything. Like,
interaction.
nope, just...
I feel like they forgot a scene or something and picked it up later and just like, just put some text up on the screen.
Yeah.
I guess so, because like how many like you got to do something else besides like show endless shots of the characters staring, like you know, may as well add some text on the screen. Yeah.
Yep. They break into the medical center and attempt to gain control of the prison systems and get to the control room.
Yeah.
The zookeeper responds with an armed force, and in the ensuing shootout, several inmates are killed and the group becomes separated.
Yeah. Okay. So that was kind of cool. It was like that was like maybe the one thing that was sort of even slightly interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't even remember it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
I mean, I
remember.
remember them getting chased down and
Well, it's another situation that ends up getting resolved like pretty much like before it even becomes an issue.
yeah.
So
De Rosa, following his own leads, locates the prison from the outside.
okay.
So
Yep.
that,
Yeah.
I guess, is Batista's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is when he becomes important.
Yep.
Kinda.
Yeah. He's still kind of useless.
Like he definitely does something. It's just it's not very impactful ultimately. So
Not worthy of a cameo.
nope. It was a paycheck performance
Yeah.
easily. Like, and also while I'm at it, I think Stallone was probably in it just to like, get a paycheck too, because he doesn't really do a whole lot beyond like what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, straight to video stuff now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yu Shang overrides the prison's power systems, alerting DeRosa to the prison's entrance and allowing him to break in. Searching for an exit, Shu kills the zookeeper in a knife fight as Luke and DeRosa converge in the control room.
Yeah, that was. It was like most of these fight scenes felt really anticlimactic. Like
Yeah.
even the shootout just felt kind of like it ended prematurely. You know.
Yeah. Breslin faces off with Kimbrel in hand-to-hand combat while DeRosa rescues Luke from the prison guards. That was another terrible fight scene.
I hated that.
Stallone being slow as hell.
Yeah. He's too old.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but really he just doesn't have it anymore, you know? He can't do the action stuff anymore. It's like when Roger Moore did it with James Bond. It didn't work then when he was in A View to a Kill and he's like running across the runway and he's like jogging, you know, he can't really get a whole lot of like forward momentum going. He can't seem to catch his breath and he's James Bond. It's the same issue there. Like sometimes that happens. Sometimes people just can't physically, you know, pull off the trickier stuff, you know, and I think Sylvester Stallone this is an example that he needs to call it quits.
Yeah.
Breslin defeats Kimbrel and together with DeRosa disables Galileo for good. Shu and Yu Shang find an exit and are safely extracted by Abigail and Hush. Breslin is contacted by the group behind Hades and vows to track them down and expose them.
Okay. All right. And so like at least there's like some kind of motivation there. But I don't know. But at that point in the movie, it's kind of too late, obviously. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What I didn't get is Batista like drives into the place, just like smashes into and makes his way in. Like, why didn't Shu and whatnot go through, just meet up with them and leave? They left through a vent into like
that would have made more
some
sense.
random alleyway.
Yeah.
But they already breached the entrance. Batista did.
Yeah.
I don't get why they still had to escape through a vent.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess because they needed an escape plan.
Yeah. It didn't even show Batista or Stallone getting out either.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. And all of this took place under Atlanta.
Yeah. Some underground facility.
Yeah. So that's Escape
That's
Plan
about
2.
Yeah. I felt like it was made by people who really just wanted to finish it quickly and film it fast and get it over with. Yeah. It felt like everybody who made this was obligated to make it. It felt like whoever wrote it probably was obligated to write it. It just felt like a giant obligation, which now that I know that it was filmed back to back with a third movie, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And hence why it is disinteresting enough as a movie and as an experience to be on the bottom 100.
Guess what the budget for that was?
Oh man,
I don't know. There's a lot of CGI stuff.
Yeah, I know. Kind of thinking they maybe cut some corners.
It was like 80 million.
20. I still thought that was a lot.
20 million?
Yeah.
Where did all the money go?
The CGI robots.
I guess.
Or into Stallone's pocket.
I guess so. That's like the only other thing. You know, of course, Dave Bautista, you know, he's making the Disney money now, so he doesn't need to complain. But Stallone, like, what the heck? Jeez. Yeah, can't say really anything positive about it for the most part. It was
Slog.
pretty much a giant waste of time, you know.
Yep.
At least at least with something like the Expendables, you know, you can sort of you get some idea of who the characters are in a way. This you don't even get that. So
Yeah.
it was kind of just a nothing type of movie.
Mhm.
Definitely deserves its place on the list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Escape Plan 2 Hades is wretched.
Mhm. Trash.
Yeah.
Do we want to do ratings on these?
I don't know if we have to.
I'll give it a 1. I'll just
Yeah.
give it a 1. Maybe I'm not alone, but no, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
It's the one for the brief fight scenes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, why not one?
yeah. It's not worth seeing. Even if you're a Stallone fan, I'd say skip it because he's not even in it that much, honestly. Like when you really think about like the overall like experience of the movie, most of it was just kind of like exposition dumps and then like some other stuff, some shitty CGI.
Yeah, for like having his face smack dab in the cover, you'd expect him to be the main character.
Yeah. But yeah, he really doesn't do really anything that's noteworthy. So, but yeah, that's about it. So, Escape Plan 2, Hades, not recommended.
No.
So, all right, and with that, I guess we shall depart.
Yeah.
99.
Yeah, lucky
Yeah.
99. Hopefully. All right, bye.
Yeah.